Hey, welcome to a new video, based on a real-life account. The opening of the movie shows that from the 1960s through the 1980s, many Nigerian children were sent by their parents to live with white working-class families in the UK. Nigerian parents who were either working or studying would pay these British families to take care of their children. This informal arrangement came to be known as farming. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we continue, also like the video. The film begins in 1967, in England, where a group of white bullies is chasing a black man at a train station. It's a dark, cold night, and the man is desperately running to save himself. Tragically, he ends up trapped at a dead end, and is forced to plead with the bullies for his life. The scene suddenly switches to Tilbury in East London. A Nigerian couple, Femi and Ilu, come to Britain to study and plan to return home after finishing their education. Shortly after, they welcome their son, Enitin. As events unfold, the couple, with heavy hearts, hand over their baby boy and a stack of cash to Ingrid Carpenter. Ingrid is a working-class wife with a gypsy background, living in a row house in Tilbury. Femi and Ilu vow to come back when they are securely established. Fast forward 8 years. Enitin is now a young boy, creative but introverted, often choosing to hide behind the sofa instead of playing with his foster siblings, who are also farmed by his parents. At this point, his foster mother Ingrid is looking after as many as 10 black children in her inconsistent care. Her husband is constantly away, working as a lorry driver, leaving Ingrid to manage the children alone. She claims to treat all the kids equally, saying all of them are the same. But sometimes she insults Enitin. Enitin faces ongoing mild racism in the household, with Ingrid threatening to send him back to Wooga Wooga land if he steps out of line. He is also relentlessly bullied at school, which makes him start to despise his own skin color. One day, Ingrid coerces him into stealing. The young boy tiptoes into a pawn shop and successfully swipes a gold chain. He presents this stolen gift to his mom, but when the shopkeeper discovers the theft, Ingrid hits Enitin and hurls racial insults at him. She later explains that she had to discipline him to avoid serious consequences. Enitin understands and vows to Mommy that he'll successfully steal the chain next time. As time goes on, Enitin remains a target of bullying at school. On one occasion, the bullies even set their vicious dog on him, resulting in Enitin needing 10 stitches on his forehead. Ingrid is enraged by this and demands that her husband retaliate against the local gypsy boys who injured Enitin. However, Enitin's foster father suggests that Enitin should confront the bullies on his own. The scene transitions to Enitin gazing at a rainbow from his window. Excited, he and his siblings dash into the streets to chase the rainbow. After wandering for a bit, they stumble upon a puddle and find what they were looking for. The children make their wishes before quickly heading back home. Upon arriving, Enitin's cheerful mood fades when he spots a couple in their waiting room. They are his biological parents, Femi and Ilu, who years earlier had entrusted him to the care of Ingrid. Next, we see Enitin and his 2 twin sisters in a taxi, headed to their village in Nigeria. The young boy learns that they are to live there permanently. Overwhelmed by this harsh reality, he remains quiet during his time with his Nigerian family, even when he is expected to greet his grandfather. Enitin shows no affection or respect towards his new family. It appears that his grandfather was already displeased with his parents for using the foster care system. Observing Enitin's state, Grandpapa tells his son Femi it takes a whole village to raise a child, and England is not their village. The people there do not know their customs and culture. Grandpa then suggests that they perform a prayer ritual to reconnect Enitin with his ancestral spirit. The scene shifts to a ritual resembling voodoo, where a tantric woman repeatedly slices Enitin's chest with sharp blades. This ritualistic act leaves the young boy bleeding and screaming for help, surrounded by mysterious figures chanting continuously. After this ordeal, Enitin's parents hold a celebration to mark the end of the ritual. Yet the boy appears disconnected from everyone, particularly his biological parents. Despite their attempts to connect, Enitin remains silent and unresponsive in conversations. This frustration extends to his teachers at his new school, prompting multiple school changes due to his silence. One day, when Enitin fails to answer a question in class, choosing not to speak, he is punished by being made to stand on one leg next to the classroom door. After class, as the angry teacher prepares to strike him with a stick, Enitin swiftly grabs the stick and retaliates against the teacher. This incident enrages his father, Femi, who decides to send Enitin back to his foster parents despite his mother's objections, setting the stage for more trials ahead. In the next scene, Enitin returns to Tilbury and reunites with Ingrid and the others. When she bothers him, he retreats to the bathroom and locks himself in. There, he attempts to scrub away his black skin and then covers himself in a whitening talcum powder paste. The next day, he shows up at school with the same eerie, unsettling appearance, which only leads to more mockery from his classmates. The film then skips forward to when Enitin is a teenager. He is still without friends, except for the gentle guidance of his saint-like English teacher, Miss Depot. During one of her lessons, a classmate makes a hurtful joke about Enitin. Now a solidly built boy, no longer the lean child he was. Anakin has learned to confront his tormentors. The remark triggers him, sparking a brawl right in the classroom. Soon after, the headmaster enters the scene and suspends Anakin for being frequently troublesome. Despite the suspension, Anakin shows up at school the next day, but hesitates to go inside. Miss Depot notices him and engages him in a meaningful conversation. She offers to speak to the headmaster about the suspension, but Anakin does not respond. Then she asks him what his dream was as a child. Initially silent, Anakin slowly admits that he has always loved drawing, finding joy in creating figures on clean paper and watching them come to life. When asked about his friends, the teenager reveals that he doesn't really have any. He sometimes imagines talking to them behind the sofa. Miss Depot correctly surmises that his friends exist only in his imagination. After a deep talk with his teacher, Anakin heads to a field and begins to draw blooming wildflowers. Unknown to him, this area is claimed by a local gang known as the Tilbury Skins. The gang, led by a guy named Levy who deeply resents black immigrants, catches Anakin off guard while he's engrossed in his artwork. Levy and his crew quickly surround him, skipping any taunts. They spray paint Anakin white and sternly warn him to never trespass again. Feeling deeply humiliated but courageous, Anakin returns to the same spot the next day, armed with a hammer. He boldly calls out Levy, challenging him to a duel. Unfazed by Anakin's challenge, Levy strides over and strikes him, causing Anakin to bleed from the nose and collapse to the ground. Anakin gradually transitions from being a frequent target of Levy's to becoming his grudgingly accepted pet. This flawed decision arises from his belief that by outdoing others in racial prejudice, he might finally fit in somewhere. Therefore, the 16-year-old changes his path by joining the skinheads. Initially, they belittle him, humiliate him, and use him as a tool for their aggression. However, as Anakin grows tougher, he earns the gang's respect by boldly slaughtering a pig in front of everyone. Following this act, Anakin joins the skinheads in a series of escalating actions. They rob a post office, harass black individuals including Miss Depot, and even initiate a clash with another local gang, the Gray Skins. This provokes the Gray Skins, who strike back by crashing a club party that Levy, Anakin, and the rest of the skinheads are attending. A fierce brawl ensues between the rival gangs, during which Anakin sets fire to one of the opposing gang members. Following the altercation, Anakin, Levy, and his crew find themselves in jail. Ingrid hears about the incident and hurries to the station. She manages to get Anakin released, but his involvement in violence doesn't end there. He quickly reunites with Levy and his group to continue their conflict with the Gray Skins. The two opposing gangs gather in a field, ready to confront each other. However, the Gray Skins specifically target Anakin because he had set their friend on fire under Levy's orders. Anakin steps forward alone to face the rival gang. Tragically, Levy and his thugs abandon him during the melee. Consequently, Anakin is severely injured and struggles to stay on his feet. Bruised and battered, he confronts Levy, who further provokes him with racial insults. In a moment of clarity and rage, Anakin stabs Levy in the stomach. This action leads to Anakin being taken back to the police station. Fortunately, his biological parents, now lawyers, manage to secure his release. As soon as he is freed, Anakin rushes to his hidden garden spot, where he had kept Levy's pet python after the stabbing. He is heartbroken to find the python brutally killed. Feeling utterly lost and despondent, Anakin attempts to end his life, but the police arrive just in time to prevent the tragedy. 6 months later, Anakin wakes up in a social care institution designed for students who require additional support. Here, he encounters Miss Depot, who also teaches at the institute. Remorseful about the times Levy and the skinheads harassed her, Anakin finally opens up and shares his emotions with her. Meanwhile, seeing Anakin's deteriorating state, his foster parents voice their concerns to his biological parents. As a result, Anakin's biological parents provide a substantial stipend to ensure that he receives proper facilities at the institution. They also insist that he studies law, a directive from his biological father. With encouragement from Miss Depot and the social workers, Anakin begins to recover and even develops an interest in studying law. Anakin's life begins to improve significantly when he earns a C grade on his exams, which boosts his confidence. 3 years later, he has moved away from his troubled, extremist past and has earned a master's degree in law from King's College London. A new chapter begins for Anakin when he is discovered at college and given the chance to pursue a career in modeling. This opportunity leads him to a path of success, particularly after he relocates to Los Angeles. In an unexpected turn of events, Anakin, who is actually Adewale Akinwuye Agbaje in real life, moves beyond his difficult past to become an actor and director. In the closing part of the film, we learn that Adewale reconnected with his biological family, although forgiving them was a challenging process. He also made amends with his foster parents, who kept fostering children despite various difficulties. Adewale managed to reconcile with his past and carve out a successful career in the entertainment industry. He has appeared in movies and TV shows including Congo, Oz, The Bourne Identity, The Mummy Returns, Lost, and Game of Thrones. So that was all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. See you in the next one.